Good evening, everyone. This is the October 26, 2022 meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission. This,
On the phone, I'm sorry, Michael.
no. What am I doing wrong here? This one? It says hold.
Oh, red light's on the side.
All right, am I good? All right, let's try this again. Good evening, everyone. This is the October 26, 2022 meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission. This open meeting is being operated as a hybrid format under Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. The public can join the meeting remotely by telephone and by dialing 1-408-650-3123 and using access code 942-845-549. Or the public can join via computer at global.gotomeeting.com/join/942-845-549. Someone's trying to call in. All supporting materials have been provided to members of the commission and are available on the town's website, and the public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. My name is Michael Garland. I'm chairman of the commission, and let me confirm that members and persons anticipating on the agenda are present and can hear me. So members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Tom Fallon.
Present.
Megan Langley.
I'm here.
Christopher Carey.
Here.
Okay. And when I call your name, also respond in the affirmative. Keith Heselton.
Here.
Okay. All right, so please note that this meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. And if applicants are participating remotely, please make sure to state your name and address as if you were attending in person. All right, having said that, the first item on our agenda is a 7 p.m. public hearing. Logan Huffman, a notice of intent for a portion of Washington Street, Route 20 for reconstruction. It's my understanding that the applicant has requested a continuance. Is that right, Keith?
Yes.
Okay. And when would they like to continue the hearing to?
We have not heard yet.
All right, so continue it generally?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we will just, go ahead.
Thank you.
Please enter your access. To enable audio.
Was I alive before? All right, let's try this again. I feel like deja vu. All right, everyone, good evening again. This is the October 26, 2022 meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission. This open meeting is being operated as a hybrid format under Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. The public can join the meeting remotely by telephone by dialing 1-408-650-3123 and using access code 942-845-549. Or you can join via computer using or going to the web and typing in global.gotomeeting.com/join/942-845-549. All supporting materials for this evening's meeting have been provided to the commissioners and are available on the town's website, and the public is encouraged to follow along using our posted agenda. My name is Michael Garland. I'm chairman of the commission, and before we get started, let me confirm that members are present for the meeting. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Tom Fallon.
Here.
Megan Langley.
Here.
Christopher Carey.
Here.
And also in attendance, when I call your name, please respond. Tim Pratt.
Here.
And Keith Heselton.
Here.
All right, very good. So please note that this meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television, and if anyone is going to participate remotely tonight, please make sure to state your name and your address as if you were here attending in person. So, first item on tonight's agenda was a 7 p.m. public hearing. Logan Huffman, a notice of intent for a portion of Washington Street and Route 20, also known as Route 20, for reconstruction. It's my understanding that the applicant has requested to continue this matter, is that right?
That is correct.
But we do not have a requested date or time?
No, sir.
So in that case, I'd ask for a motion just to continue this matter generally. I'm sure when the applicant is ready to appear before us, they will notify us. So is there a motion just to continue this matter generally?
I make a motion, we continue this matter generally.
Is there a second?
A second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's a vote.
Aye.
Oh, hello, Catherine, how are you? I didn't know you were there.
I'm good. Sorry, I was just a few minutes.
Okay, no worries. All right, the next item on our agenda is 7:05 public hearing for Anthony Benvenuti, a notice of intent for a property at 829A Oxford Street for construction of a three-bedroom house and septic system and well. It's my understanding, Mr. Heselton, that this applicant has also requested a continuance, is that right?
Yes, from the last meeting. I believe they may be on the phone now.
Okay. Is anyone here on behalf of Mr. Benvenuti?
Yes, this is Peter Engel.
Hello, Mr. Engel. Are you prepared to go forward today?
We are.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, we had an opportunity to go out to the property. We actually met the property owner at that time. The land is set back from Oxford Street, and apparently whatever wetlands there are in the property are located towards the rear of the property. So it looks like a flat, wide-open parcel of land, certainly suitable for the construction of a single-family home. So that was my observation, sir. There may be members of the commission that have some things they'd like to add. Anything? No.
We're talking about 829, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Chris, anything, Chris?
No.
Megan, anything? Okay. So having said that, this was actually one of our easier filings. So unless you have anything further to add, Mr. Engel, I think we are satisfied with the plan you submitted and based on our inspection of the property a few weeks ago.
We don't have a DEP.
Sounds good. We did get a DEP number this afternoon.
Okay, can you, what's that DEP number?
That is, just give me 1 second.
Okay.
It is CE 0980856.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up, so can you repeat that very slowly?
CE 0980856.
085. Okay. So the DEP file number is CE 098-0856?
That is correct.
Okay, good. All right. Again, I have no other comments. Is there anyone dialing in that has any comments regarding 829A Oxford Street? There being none, is there a motion to close?
Make a motion, we close the public hearing?
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 It's a vote. Okay. Thank you, Mr. McClure. We'll probably be able to enter or issue an order of conditions this evening, so, or at least prepare one. So we'll be in touch with you soon.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Thank you. All right, we have 1 minute to our next hearing.
In a situation like this where we didn't have the DEP number provided directly from DEP, do we have to like verify it first or, before?
We normally get notice from
We
DEP.
do. I didn't receive one today, and I did check the DEP site
Okay.
around noon, and I did not see one. That said, it could have been issued after.
So what we can do is we could prepare an order of conditions, but make it conditional on the issuance of the DEP number. And I imagine if he received it, I would imagine they normally notify us by email, so we would probably get it in the next day or two.
I would assume.
But if you have time, maybe you can call tomorrow and just confirm it?
Yep.
All right, very good. And we still have some time, okay. All right, it's now 7:10 PM. The next item on our agenda is the 7:10 public hearing. Angelo Bufano, a notice of intent for property at 5 Bylands Drive for the construction of a lake retaining wall. Mr. Heselton, I understand that there is a request to continue this public hearing, is that right?
No, sir, not for this one.
Okay,
I apologize, no.
all right. Is there anyone here on behalf of Mr. Bufano? Who is caller number 3? We have a mystery caller.
That might be you.
That might be me.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
then, mystery solved. Isn't this Mr. Kravosky's filing?
It is, and I did contact him to see if he or a representative would be here tonight, and he did indicate that there would be somebody.
Well, no one's here yet. Why don't we do this then? Why don't we just hold this, and then if someone shows up before we finish with our other business, we'll take it. If they don't, then they'll have to wait till November. So, I see Mr. DeFutis is here for 10 Rotary Road. If you can come up, please. Good evening. So, you'll recall, we actually went out to your property, seems like it was a while ago, I think it was early September?
Correct.
Okay. And obviously, the site's been stabilized, the work has been substantially completed. And so, these are my observations, the other members of the commission may differ. My thought was that even though the project that you eventually constructed deviated from what you submitted, we felt that to basically take it down so that it would comply with what you originally filed with us would probably do more harm than good. Having said that, I mean, I think that what you, and again, I'm not casting aspersions here, but I think what you built was different from what you submitted originally. And I think in the future, what we will make sure to do is, we will require probably a design plan as opposed to a diagram or pictures of what an applicant proposes to do. But having said that, I mean, I think the work was done properly. I think aesthetically it looks good. I think the work that was performed or did not have an adverse impact on the pond there. So, again, based on my observations, I am inclined to withdraw the enforcement order.
I concur.
Okay?
My only question was, I thought that we had determined, I went back and looked at the minutes from, I think, the last time that we had met on this issue, and I thought that we had requested a notice of intent for the update for the plan as it actually was built.
I think we did.
So, I mean,
We received an as-built drawing, if you recall.
okay, I may have missed that, but
So,
if
and-
we received that.
and I think, there were no conditions that we did issue at the time of the original filing. So, I mean, I'm persuaded based on what was constructed there that the work, although it deviated from what was originally proposed, it complies with, good practices in terms of preventing erosion and providing an adverse impact on the water source. So if there is a motion, I'll entertain it.
I make a motion that we lift the enforcement order.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, it's a vote. All right,
Thank you very much.
all right, so you should be all set. And if you, next time you file something,
I will have a stamped engineer, and it will be workable.
right, exactly.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank
I
you.
apologize for any inconveniences we caused.
Okay.
Take care.
And I also see that the owner for 23 Brook Street is here. Can you come up, please? Hi there. So, we came out to see you, or see your property a few weeks ago, and we understand that what your intention is to basically level out the backyard. And in order to do that, you're gonna need to bring in a lot of material. I don't know if, how much material, you need to bring in, but it seems it's gonna be a substantial amount.
Not a whole lot, not a whole lot.
Well, I don't know what your plans are in terms of trucking that material in. I think I raised with you at the time that you might need an earth fill permit from the Board of Selectmen. That's an issue for you to decide. I think based on the work that you're proposing to do, though, again, it was my opinion that you needed to file a formal notice of intent with us instead of just a request for determination of applicability, because you are altering the topography of the back, you are bringing in a substantial amount of material, and it's our feeling that, that erosion control measures have to be firmly established in order for, before the work proceeds. Again, that's just my opinion. Other members of the commission may disagree, but again, that's just my view, and I am happy to let others chime in and offer their views.
No, I agree. You know, the original, the builder, they established the grass and that, and I think we agreed that, you know, that as far as that goes, the builder of the house did what they were supposed to do, got the grass established, but given the amount of soil coming in, I think they're gonna need to file, just because it's gonna change the topography.
Because there could be issues with runoff and that sort of thing that will actually impact the wetland. And I think, and I forget who raised the issue, but when the house was originally built, there was a notice of intent filed when the house was originally built, and we issued the order of conditions. And so I think, based on the amount of material that you are bringing in, we think, again, my opinion, and I think Tom's opinion, is that you do need to file a notice of intent. And the forms are available online. I'm sure you can confer with an engineer, and they can tell you what the process is to do that.
Okay, and how long will that take?
As long as it takes you to file an application with us. Our next meeting is gonna be, I think, on November 16th. So if that's
So
basically,
what is that what process, what does it mean?
what does it mean? It
Yeah,
means
for
that
us.
it means that you file, there has to be a plan filed in which you have to detail the work that you're doing. And then we've been out to the site, so we know what you're planning to do, but we need an engineered plan. And then we would have a public hearing, and then we would issue what's called an order of conditions, which are things that you need to do in order to comply with the notice of intent that you file. We normally require an as-built. We need to make sure, we will tell you that you need erosion control measures in place. There are just steps that you need to take in order to make sure that there's no adverse impact on the wetland area that's behind your property.
So this can go on to next year if
I think that depends on how soon you can get an engineer, or however you want to go ahead and handle this, you know?
So, I mean, you guys are talking about, we're gonna bring in a lot of materials into the backyard, and that's not the case, because the wall that you saw, that's where it stops,
it stops right there.
right there, and we're not going any higher, or,
The problem, sir, is that we don't have a plan to go by, so I know what you're saying you're gonna do, but we don't know what you're gonna do. And it seemed like you were leveling out the property. I know you had set blocks to maybe establish where the perimeter was gonna be, and it looked, again, to my eye, and I'm not an engineer, but it looked like you were gonna bring in a fairly substantial amount of material. Now, if your goal is not to level out all of the backyard, but just a portion of the backyard, that has to still be shown on a plan. We need to know what you're planning to do before we can act on it.
Okay,
And I think that's reasonable. So,
that's
I
reasonable.
know, I respect the fact that it's not what you wanted to hear, but, you know, we have the Wetlands Protection Act, we have our bylaws and regulations, and we have to follow the law,
Okay.
okay?
So we'll go ahead and submit the form online.
Yes. All right.
I would like to make a suggestion.
Sure.
Now, the builder that built your home, they filed a notice of intent, so whoever in that notice of intent would have the original engineer, that probably had the original plan, correct? So
Yeah.
you could probably look into that, and it may save you some time, I'm not sure. But given that they've already done, they're familiar with the property, so it would probably make things a lot easier
It
for
would
everybody.
probably make the process quicker for you and probably cheaper, too.
This
Yeah.
This is the original, the as-built from the,
Oh, there you go.
Let me just make sure, I mean, honestly, yes, as long as,
We have an extra, I'm sure we have extra
Sure, we have
copies of the
extra
as-built,
copies,
right?
yeah, as long as I don't have any,
There you go.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can have those, that's fine.
Thank you.
All right, all right, thank you. So, I'm going to call the 7:10 public hearing, Angelo Bafaro, notice of intent for property of 5 Byland Drive for the construction of a lake retaining wall. Mr. Gravoski.
Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Thank you, we are here.
Okay.
It'll be on the screen, by chance. I don't know what.
We actually went out to the property.
Yes, I heard from my client. Thank you for, I'll be on the mic here. So, yes, we did receive a DEP file number, it came out yesterday, if you, your agent might have seen it. The DEP file number. Anyways, it is 0980855, Mia McDonald. No comments. If you have seen it, I'm not sure.
No, but we'll take a copy, though.
We have plenty, so
Right, thank you.
there's yours. This site had been in front of you last year for the addition, and we're using that same driveway to get to the wall. We did pull some rock, so over the years, apparently, before this gentleman bought it, rocks were thrown in front of the existing wall, probably because it was starting to fall forward. We did pull rocks off the front and found the original face. We painted it with orange, if you saw any of that orange paint, so that the surveyor would pick it up specifically, because he had shown just an armored wall, or what we see in front of the existing wall. As we normally, Webster Lake, Sugden Res, we're doing many walls, just in, 3 of them on Webster Lake in the last month and a half. And what we normally do is have the surveyor pick up the face of the wall, the toe of the slope, the top, to ensure that we're not filling in any floodplain. And on the map, you have a blue line showing the floodplain at the top of the stairs, which is the blue line on the map up there. And so to prove to the state and to the commission that we're not filling in floodplain, we have a detail on the lower right corner of the map showing, this is a takeoff of a DOT design for walls. We placed the new wall exactly where the old wall was. We're going to take out the riprap that's in front of the existing wall, and that does increase the floodplain storage by removing that material. It also increases the land on the water body where that rubble is now sitting on top of. And then we remove all the old wall. We have erosion controls in front of the wall, as in the plan it shows. And there is a shoreline here that we, in some cases, we had just done one for Consolidated Beverages, the old Ronnie Fields in the lake, and we had water up against the wall. In this case, we see that we should have a shoreline there. We'll have erosion controls out at the limit of the land under water body, which is upland. We do have, and those will be in place, obviously, prior to the work, and then remove the rubble, get back to the original wall, remove that old wall. We do have offset stakes in the water. They're just oak stakes, and that's to 10 feet off the proposed wall and off the existing wall, so that the new wall is built exactly where the old wall is, again, so that we do not fill any further, any land under water body. But as I explained a minute ago, we actually will be increasing land under water body by removing the rubble that's down on the water, or between the mean annual low and the mean annual high, which is the lower part of the bank. And the steps are going to be replaced. There is that large boulder you might have seen. We are going to bring an excavator in to remove this material, and looking at the shape of the rock and how it's undercut, it's not ledge. We do want to remove that large boulder as you're facing the water on the left-hand side of the steps. and then build the wall across. The steps themselves are also described in the project description that we're proposing to rebuild, take those apart and rebuild exactly what's there now, as we do see some cracks in them, and that's our proposal again, and that way, when we're doing steps in the water, we keep them the same width and the same elevation. If they became narrower, that would be another case of filling in floodplain, so we build them at the same width that they're at and the same elevation, so all this floodplain issue does not become an issue. There's no BVW on this shoreline, so there was no question, at least to my taking, that there was a BVW issue, because it's a unnatural rock wall. So I'm going to just go over the notes, starting from the lower left and go around. So proposed wattles, which on the detail, it is not just wattles, it is also supported by filter fabric fence, entrench, which is your silt fence. So we would correct the engineer, or correct myself, for not saying, for also saying and entrench silt fence, because that's the detail and that's what we will do. But it is in the detail. 10-foot offset, existing rubble to be removed, floodplain storage increase 86.16 square feet, which is 207.5 cubic feet. Face of old retaining wall to be rebuilt, top cap stone 570, which is at the elevation that the top cap is on our left. Large boat to be removed. The dock, we're not going to change that. This is not Chapter 91, so we're just going to put the dock and the float back as it is. Floodplain storage. Floodplain storage should be the same numbers as he had before. Oh, he separates it out, I apologize. For the southwest side, he has a floodplain storage increase, and then he has for the northeast side, he has a separate calculation. We have shown him this, sometimes, most of the times, I apologize, that I did not look that there are two separate numbers on two separate sides of the wall, but those are the things that we told him to do.
Right.
And then to be removed, again, existing rubble, water line, proposed straw wattle, which again is with silt fence, face of old, retaining wall. So we basically mimicked notes on the left and notes on the right as you're facing the water. And then the 10-foot offset. The existing 18-inch tree to remain. We're not taking any trees down on this. We do have a 55-gallon spill kit, just in case there is a leak. That spill kit in some towns, and I think we've used it in your town before, we bring that in, and that's in case there is a hydraulic leak, which we don't anticipate, but that's a safeguard. And beyond that, as I said, we have the DEP number, which doesn't mean everything to you, but it does help, obviously, because the commission doesn't close without the number.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, these stones are gonna have to be removed using what, a small cat?
We're using a 75G John Deere on this site, which is a mid-size excavator. We just used it Monday, we use it quite often, Lemiansky's. And he does have access to the larger excavator for just a boulder, so there's.
So, if you know, what's the average weight of the stones that are gonna be used to shore up the wall? I would
Do you mean
imagine-
to make the wall back again?
Yeah.
Similar to the rocks that are there, let me just say that generally, it's stone and mortar, so it's not just rock.
Okay,
And
that
there
was-
is a footing too, as
that's
we
gonna
look
be
at
my
the
next question.
detail. There's an 18-inch footing subgrade, so that we don't have undermining. Lakes like Webster Lake and Lake Quincy,
Right.
we have boats going by, and so we have undermining, and a lot of our walls then are undermined, and then they move forward. By putting this 18-inch subgrade, it's 4,000-pound concrete, which lasts longer in the water. Some people use 3,000. We use the heavier concrete, a little bit more money, but then it lasts. And then from there, you can see that we have the different rocks, which generally these rocks are similar to what's out there, 1.5 feet, 8 to 10 inches thick, a foot, 1.5 feet wide. Most of them are maneuverable by man, but again, there's concrete in between, so that we're not looking, and it is still 4,000 pounds, so that this thing will last 40, 50 years without any problem.
And how long to install, or to do the job from beginning to end?
This is approximately a 2-week project.
Okay, all right. And does the applicant wish to start work this year?
I do not believe so.
Okay.
He has auctions on this night, and so he's at an auction, and for that reason, I apologize, he's not here, but But
Well,
wh-
we knew, when we went there, we saw that they're doing extensive renovations to the house.
if I could through the chair, we did permit that.
Right, no, I understand
Okay,
that.
thank you.
I do. Okay. Again, we went out to the site. It was a gorgeous day, and the site, the sight lines from that property are beautiful during this time of year. Again, the project is very straightforward, so I have no questions, if anyone else does. Chris, any questions? No. Okay. Megan, any questions? All right. Having said that, is there a motion to close?
Make a motion, we close the public hearing?
Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, it's a vote. All right, Ms. Gravosky, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your time again. I'm glad to see you only have a short agenda. That's always nice for commissions. It's my third hearing this week, and some of them are going to 10, so good for you. Woburn was a kicker. Thank you again. Have a good day.
Okay, with respect to our other business, I'm not sure what we do about the certificate of compliance request for 39 and 78 Prospect Street. Who requested that? Do you know?
I would have to look. Let me see if I can pull that up for you right now.
If this is part of the Ravane project, then I'm certain there's no as-built plan.
This is,
Yeah, here it is.
Oh,
Well, it's the order of conditions, but
Oh.
it was to Ravane.
it's this, yeah, all right, thank you. Okay, so I guess we will need to take a look. I don't know if members are available this Saturday for site walks. If you are, my thought was that we could actually hit Prospect Street and then take a look at 12 Hilltop Farm Road, and I'll talk about that in a second. And then the rain garden was supposed to be reestablished at Lundgren Honda. I don't know if they've had sufficient time to do it, but we could also take a quick trip up there. So with respect to 12 Hilltop Farm Road, we had received a letter from Attorney Todd Broder at Fletcher Tilton, who represents the owners of the property, Christopher and Kristen, I think it's DeGette. And based on the letter, it appears that they purchased the property back in 2013. Now, my observation was, and it's not consistent, but I know that there have been times where when a property is in the process of being transferred, that the title company will request or maybe even insist that a certificate of compliance be obtained. That apparently was not the case back in 2013. I'm not sure, were you on the board back when we dealt with Ravane?
I just came on the board, I think.
So, having, been on the board the longest, I remember distinctly dealing with the filings for this project by Ravane Development, and this is not the first instance where it's come to our attention that there was no as-built plan submitted as was required under the order of conditions. Mr. Attorney Broder mentions the fact that the situation had come up, I believe a year or two ago, regarding 26 Hilltop Farm Road. At that time, we did go out to the property. Again, there was no as-built plan provided, and based on our observations of the property at that time, we agreed to waive the requirement that an as-built plan be produced. I will point out that having done it once doesn't mean that we will do it in every instance. It is not precedent as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't have any legal effect. I think out of fairness, I think we should go out to the property and take a look around. And we should try to deal with these cases on a case-by-case basis. And if we feel that the conditions are such that an as-built is not required, then we can act accordingly. If we do believe that an as-built should be provided, then we can do that too. So my suggestion would be that we continue this, just generally, and I don't need a motion, but we just continue this in our agenda to our next meeting. Speaking of our next meeting, so as the board knows, We meet twice a month, except for the months of November and December. Our pattern has been that when we only meet once a month, we meet the third Wednesday of the month instead of the second Wednesday. And my request would be that we actually have our next meeting on November 16th, and then our December meeting, whatever that third Wednesday is,
14th?
okay? So, I don't know that I need a motion, but I'll ask for one anyway. So is there a motion for the November meeting to be scheduled on November 16th?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 It's a vote. And then with respect to our meeting in December, is there a motion to schedule our December meeting on December 14th of 2022?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 It's a vote. Okay, so we closed 2 public hearings this evening. So since we are not going to meet again until November 16th, I believe we do have to issue orders of condition this evening. So is there a motion?
I make a motion for, to issue an order of conditions for
829?
829A Oxford Street.
Okay,
A standard order plus the following special conditions, numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, and 11.
okay. So there's a motion for standard order plus the following special conditions, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, and 11. Is there a second?
I want to just make the, that conditional on the issuance of the DEP number, once we confirm that we receive that.
Yes, yes, that will be conditioned on
Okay.
confirmation. Although I will note that apparently the number that McClure provided
Sequential.
was sequential
The
to the
next
number
one.
that Mr. Kravosky provided, so, and we can confirm that, I think, with,
Okay.
but yeah, it's obviously conditioned on the issuance of a DEP file number. So with that, that condition in mind, is there a second?
I second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 It's a vote. And then with respect to 5 Byland Drive, the reconstruction of the lake retaining wall, is there a motion?
I make a motion that we issue an order of conditions for 5 Island Drive with the following, a standard order plus the following special conditions.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, and 11.
Okay, so the motion is standard order plus special conditions 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, and 11. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, and that's also, we do have confirmation of the DEP file number. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 It's a vote. Okay. And so, this Saturday, if people are available, since 12 Hilltop Farm Road and 39 and 78 Prospect Street are located, I think, fairly close to one another, why don't we plan to meet at 12 Hilltop at 9?
Sounds good.
We'll do Prospect Street, and then we'll finish with Lundgren Honda. So, is there any other new business? If there is none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 It's a vote. All right, everyone, thank you very much. We will see you on November, hopefully this Saturday, and if not, we will see you on November 16th. Thank you. So, Tom, I was